Today I'm going to show you how to restore a butcher block countertop. I don't know about you, but I have kids and they absolutely destroy my countertops. There's crayons all over it, markers all over it, stains that I don't even know what they are. Now, for this process, we're only going to need a few items. First, you're going to need an orbital sander, some gloves. I found some butcher block oil and finish that's food safe, made by Watco. Some 120 grit sandpaper, some 220 grit sandpaper, one of these scruffing pads. This one's 360, which will work fine. But if you could find like a 400, that's what this recommends. Then you're gonna want something to apply the oil with. Alright guys, we're gonna start off first by taking our 120 grit sandpaper and going over the entire counter with it. Before you do that, you're gonna want to try to remove these stains as best you can with a rag or a brush or something like that. Alright, let's get started. So I just went over all of it with the 120 grit. Now everything looks pretty good. If you need to, you can go back and spot treat some of those spots. However, if it looks good to you, you can go ahead and swap out to the 220 grit. Let's go over and get it ready to stain. Alright, once you've sanded it with the 220 grit, it should be pretty smooth to the touch. And at this point, it needs to be as clean as you want it. Now what we need to do is take a damp towel, wipe it off, just barely damp, just enough to get that surface dust off. And then we're going to take a dry towel and then dry it up. At this point, everything should be clean and dry like you need it to be. You remember the gloves, the stain, and the applicator that we had earlier? Well, now it's time for the fun part. Let's get to applicating this stain. Once you're done with that step, your counter should look something like this. You want to make sure that there's not any big puddles or anything left over. Okay, now that we're done sealing it, we're going to let it dry for about 6 hours and then go back over it with a scuffing pad. Then we'll reseal it again, let it dry. 6 hours later. Alright, the first coat has soaked in. Now we're going to give it a good scuffing. Alright, let's give it another dose of oil. Go ahead and coat it one more time. As you can see, it's already starting to look good. Okay, you're going to want to let it sit for 6 hours again, then come back, scuff it when it's done, then you're going to let it sit for about 72 hours, and then you should be good to go. If this video helped you, feel free to like and subscribe for more great content.